I distinctly remember when you were hired, and I must say most of us thought you were out of your mind, giving up. I wouldn't call it a cush job because you were traveling across the country from California to Bristol, Connecticut, and it's not like you win the lottery when you land in Hartford, Connecticut, but still. I know I've asked you this before, but I just want to go back and go through that again because you had already proven a lot. You'd been in the playoffs with the Jets. I mean, you had an incredible run in the NFL. Why did you do it?
Paul, I missed it. It had to be the right situation for me to come back to college or even go back into professional football. And I had numerous opportunities at both levels, but this was the place where the DNA of the AD and obviously the president, it just kind of all came to fruition. It matched up the vision they had for a program they were trying to build. And I was excited about the opportunity to come back and help them with it. And I tell you the truth, Paul, I've had a lot of fun. I really have. Last 2 years have gone by very quickly. As you know, we have maybe one of the youngest teams in football. We only have 9 seniors coming back next year. We have a very young football team, but it's been fun going through the process of trying to build it.
I know because I've heard you, and you're one of the preeminent motivational speakers in this country. But it just seems like whenever you decide to move on, you've got another one to talk about because so many people reach a point in their life about the age that you made this decision when they really just don't know what to do. And most of us are not fortunate enough to get 7-figure type jobs at a school like this. But what did you learn from making that choice? And not to end your career too early, you got a long way to go. But what do you think the message is for other people who are struggling?
Well, I think the thing I learned at a very young age is you always have to bet on yourself. When opportunities present themselves, you got to be all in now. You got to be committed to something like this. And when they approached me, it wasn't like the first time we talked. It was like, okay, I had to sit back and really reflect on what I wanted to do because I knew that this was going to be a commitment and it's going to be time consuming. A lot of energy you have to put into this now, and you're dealing with a lot of people. I tell people all the time, Paul, you'll appreciate this. I'm herding 105 cats every day, and you got to want to do that. There's a lot that goes on being a head coach, especially in college football, with so much of it. 85% of your life is recruiting, and you got to want to do all that. And I was okay with it. I'm fortunate. I hired an excellent staff, and we've lost some guys, but we seem to, when we lose a guy, we find another way to get another good coach, and that helps you as well.
Yeah, you've got a couple of old friends from the NFL helping you out too.
I do. I mean, all of a sudden, we lose our coordinator, Danny Gonzalez, and it happens, and I'm going, okay. And all of a sudden, Marvin Lewis, he walks in my office. He's been kind of, he was kind of here as an advisor, and he walks in and he looks at me and said, I got you. And I looked at him and I was like, I said, Marvin, you got what? And he says, I got it. And I said, okay, you want to take over this thing, huh? And he goes, yeah. And I said, okay, I understand you want to do that, but let me call your wife, Peggy, to make sure she's okay with that. She gave him his blessings, and it was okay, so we're good.
Well, it seems like you're just trying to compete with Saban with an entire building full of former head coaches and analysts.
Well, that's hard to do. That's hard because Coach Saban, and he gave me a great opportunity to come down there and visit his program. He does a marvelous job. I mean, he's one of the best college coaches ever coached football. So we all know that. But I learned a lot going down there, just watching him operate. And I was fortunate those times at ESPN, visited a lot of college campuses, and a lot of head coaches let me go behind the scenes and just to look at it. So I knew what I was walking into when I decided to come back, and that was very helpful for me.
Every school is different, Coach, but I'm interested in what many believe is the issue in college football right now, and that is the transfer portal. Give us your perspective on that.
Well, it becomes free agency in college football, and what it can do, if you're a team like us, it can really help you because we're trying to build, and when you can get a a senior or a guy that's played, maybe say a grad transfer or the portal. It helps you build your roster rather than having to always worry about recruiting freshmen. Now, it also does this. It prevents you from having probably 85 guys on scholarship for some of these Power 5 schools, because you're going to lose players, and the problem is when you lose them, you don't get the scholarship back. And think about this: if you if you're a team that, let's say you have two quarterbacks that are really good, and one of them decides to put his name in the portal, well, all of a sudden you're stuck with one quarterback, and if that guy goes hurt, and he gets hurt, your program could take a big hit. And I'm talking about that position, but there's a lot of other positions, but that's the one. We all know that at any level, it's the quarterback. And all of a sudden you lose a couple guys, and that's what's going to happen. You know now in today's world, you just can't recruit one quarterback. You got to have three of them, and you got to do the math. You're probably going to lose one along the way, right?
I know you had a long and difficult decision coming back, and we ask every time a coach reaches a certain age, the speculation is rampant. I mean, do you have any earthly idea how long you want to do this?
When I run out of energy, I'll walk away from it, Paul. I do know this. I'm indebted to the game of football, whether I'm coaching, whether I was on TV for that stint, and I know you have to be all in to do this. When I walk in my office, and I get here early now, I'm the first one in the building. I get here around 4 o'clock. And when I can't walk up those stairs anymore, I'm excited about coming to work. I'm going to walk back down, Paul, and I'm going. I'm leaving.
What's up? Thank you so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. Don't forget to download the ESPN app. And if you want more premium content, which you do, make sure that you subscribe to ESPN+. See you soon.